So we are going to be looking at what if scenario. And what if scenario is one of the most powerful tools in Excel because it helps us to give a form of logic to whatever we are doing on a spreadsheet or workbook, as the case may be. What if scenarios can be used to answer questions of a variable or questions that are related to a particular variable. Take for instance, in our normal life activity, if I say somebody give birth and there is a response that is the child a boy, and I say no, logic will tell you not to ask what the sex of the child is again because you know that it's either a boy or a girl. So this same logic we can bring into Excel, and we are going to see various examples, all right? And at the end of the day, we should be able to
Sure.
cut, copy, and paste formulas on Excel, use the what if scenario, arrange our spreadsheets accordingly, understand what we mean by absolute and relative referencing, then change values automatically within a spreadsheet. So the first task we have is in task 2. I wouldn't bother about task 1, which is starting in Microsoft Excel, as I believe that by now you can be able to do that. So what we're about to do here is we have a question which says we should calculate for x squared over 10, 100 all over square root of x, giving the variable for 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 as a value for x. So we're going to jump straight down into our Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to share my workbook now. So this is where I'm going to do um, these tasks, all right? So from what I have here, my X is in cell X3, so I'll put X. Then I move over, let me make this bigger. Then I move over to my cell B3 where I have X raised to power 2 divided by 10. Then I have 100 divided by square root of X. So now I have it set up. I'm going to highlight these three and I'm going to centralize using alignment. I'm going to make it bold. So here I have my setup and I have ranges of value for X from 2 down to 12, from 4, sorry, down to 12. So I'll say 4, 6. So I can come here at this point, highlight these two, go to the edge and continue dragging till I have 12. Then I still centralize. All right. So now my task is to calculate value for x raised to power 2 over 10 and 100 square root of x. I'm going to give it a little highlight so that you see what we are to do. So I will come there. I'm going to look for the value of the corresponding value of x for this formula. What am I going to do? First of all, I'll put my equals to sign. Then I'll click on the cell reference for x for this equation. I will say A6 raised to power 2 divided by 10. And I'll just press enter. There I have a value and I'm going to align it to the middle, which is 1.6. Since I've related this equation to cell A6, I don't need to continue for all the other cells down of A6. What I need to do is to come to the lower right corner till I see the small black arrow and I drag down. So it will populate the value for all the other corresponding values for x in this particular cell. And that is what we call relative referencing. So it has related the value of x here and given me a particular answer. In like manner, I'm going to come to this second formula. And here I want to get the
And
equivalent for 100 divided by root x. So I'll start by saying
square
equals to 100 divided by square root of x, and I close the bracket and press enter. So I have 50. I come here and align center, and I do the same thing like the previous one. I go to the lower right corner till I have the small black arrow and I drag down. So I'm going to have all the values. But in this case, I have my decimal point up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't need that. I can reduce that. So I'll come to number under the home tab to where I have increase index and decrease index. So I'll go to decrease index and keep decreasing till I have 2 decimal points. And there I have my final value.
Point.
So here we have used relative referencing for the task at hand. Okay. So next task that we have is, let me do a new share. Let's go to the next exercise. The next one I have is, and you can see our answer is the same with what we have here. Hmm? So the next one I have is what we call the silo. All right. So we are going to do or reproduce this silo using what if expression. All right. I'm going to create a spreadsheet to show how we can achieve that. And at the end of the day, what we want to have is something similar to what we have here. So here we have items. We have to calculate the area, cost, and volume for hemisphere, cylinder, and disc. And if you look at this shape, the upper part can be likened to a hemisphere, the walls can be likened to a cylinder, and the floor can be likened to a disc. And by the side, we have been given expressions for area of cylinder, area of hemisphere, area of disc, and as well volume, okay, and unit cost as well, okay. So our task now is to find the area using the length and the radius given, and later find the cost using the unit costs that have been spread out, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me go back to my Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. I'll come to the lower bottom corner here and press plus. So I have a new spreadsheet. Okay. I'm going to magnify so that I can be big enough for you to see. And I'm going to represent the information I have in my book over here. So in A1, I have silo investigation. This one is just type in. Then I have a what if spreadsheet. Then next, number 4, I have dimensions. And in my D4, I have unit cost. Unit cost. Okay. So in my A6, I have L. And the L here is 2. In this case, then I have R, which is radius. Here it is 3. And at this other point, I have my roof, which is 400. I have my wall, which is 200. And I have my floor, which is 100. Then there's a place for height. We're going to leave that for now, it's not populated. Then underneath here, we have item. Then we have area. We have cost and volume. So on A12, we have hemisphere. we have cylinder, and we have disc. So I'm just going to come to where you have the border between column A and B and open it a bit so as to take that. So my first task is to calculate for the area of the hemisphere, area of cylinder, area of disc. Then I have the cost. Then lastly here I have the volume. Okay, so we're going to do that. So that means we're going to populate this area. I highlight this area. This is what we're going to work on this particular task. Let me just put my borders so that it's clear enough. So starting with the area of hemisphere. If you look back to your book, you've been given the area of hemisphere to be 2 pi r squared. 2 pi r squared. So I'll come here and say equals to 2 times pi. You just type in pi, you should see it will come up, then you press your tab. All right, it will give you the first bracket. You close the bracket by using shift 0, then times r. What is our r? Here we have a value for r. You click on this cell reference, in our case B7, then square. You will do shift 6 to bring up the symbol for raised to power, then 2. There you have it. Once you have this, you press enter, and there we have a value. Remember what I say about index? You come to number and you shift this index to 2. All right, and there you have it. How about for cylinder? Here we can't drag down because the formulas are not the same. So the surface area for cylinder is given as 2 pi rl. So we start by saying equals to 2 times again pi. You type pi on your keyboard, then use the tab, give it the first bracket, shift 0, second bracket, times then r, which is 3, that's cell B7, times L, which is B6. You have this equation. At this point in time, you click enter. There you have it. All right. Then next we have for the disk. What is the surface area for the disk? So surface area for this is pi r squared. So you say equals to pi, just type pi on your keyboard, tab, open bracket, close it, times then r squared. All right, our r is 3, shift 6 to get raised to power 2. Then you have that. So at this point, I can highlight all these ones and reduce the index. Okay, and make it 2 decimal points. Let me centralize. So for the area, I'm done. All right. For me to get the unit cost is a function of area times the unit cost. The total cost for each is area times unit cost. So I'll simply come here and say equals to my area times, when we talk about hemisphere, we are talking about the roof, times unit cost for roof. There I have it. Then I can say equals to area times unit cost for wall. I have that. Then equals to area times unit cost for floor. There I have it. So with this, we are done with the cost. Next, I move to volume, and you can repeat the same process. Here we have the volume of cylinder. That's the first one we have here. Volume of cylinder is pi r square L. So I come here and say equals to pi times r. What's my r? Raised to power 2 times our L. And I say enter. There we have it. Then if you go down your book, you will see uh, another volume, which is volume of hemisphere, where you have areas. see volume of hemisphere there. So that is equals to 2 pi r cubed over 3. 2 times pi times r. What is my r? Raised to power 3, then divide by 3. So once I have this expression, I click enter. All right. Then we're not given the volume of this, but you can check Google to get this out for you. It is very simple. So once you're done, the next thing is what we call the total. So we want to total everything up. Totals. Then here, it's very simple. All you need to do, go to the place where you want to have the first total, then you go to your home. Under edit, you see auto sum. Then you click on auto sum. Now it's telling you the range of the value is between B12 and B15, but I want B12 and B14. So I'll reduce this by 1, then carry this up. All right. So B12 and B14, there I have it. At this point, once I have this, I can come to the lower right corner and drag to my right. It will give me the sum total for this other evaluations that I have here. And at this point, you're done. Your spreadsheet is set. Okay? Then you can now start using this for evaluation purposes. Okay? So what is the next thing that we have, or what are we supposed to do after now? So if you go to your book, we are being told that sum total, we have done that trial by error. So we're going to try what the book says we should do right now. So if you go down to the trial by error, it says we should right click and copy this spreadsheet. So I'm going to come here, this triangle that I have at the diagonal, click and press Ctrl C. And I click on a new sheet, I press Ctrl V. So all the evaluations I have in the previous sheet has been pasted there. And I'm to save this sheet as silo trial and error. So I'll come to my sheet 3, right click, rename, and I'll say silo trial, trial and error. All right. So once that is done, it says, given that my I is 2.5, that's my length is 2.5. So we'll come here and change this length to 2.5. Okay. Once that is done, it says I should find the R to 2 decimal places that will give me a volume of 600. So we already have a volume here. And don't forget you have to get this last volume out. The volume, the formula for volume of days, you can get it on Google. So you get that, you fill this in. Once you do that, you now come here, all right? And this is where we are working on now. So I'm going to change the color a bit. Let me tweak it a bit. So we are to look for the value of R that will give us 600 in this case, all right? My answer will be different from yours because I did not work with this last cell. I didn't calculate volume of the disk. Don't forget that. That's part of your classwork. But I'll just come here and be changing the value of R till when I have 600 in this place. So this is 3. What if I make this a 6? I have more than 600, so I'll come back. What if I say 5.5? I have 586, that is close, but it's still not 600. What if I say 5.52? Okay, that is close. What if I say 5.53? That is close. What if I say 5.55? Very, very close. What if I say 5.551? Okay, so you can see that gave me 600.25. So I can stop here. All right, so that is what the trial and error method, that is how it means. But I want to break it to you that you can use this same, you can approach this question in a similar way using what we call the go seek, and that will lead us to our tax trading. All right. So how do we do that? First of all, I'm going to copy this original sheet again, Control C, into a new space, and I call it, and I paste. After pasting, I come here and say rename, and I say go seeking, go seek. Okay, go seek, and I press enter. All right. But instead of doing the manual trial and error that I did in this case, at this point in time, I'm going to use an Excel formula known as goal seeking. All right. That is what I'm going to do at this point in time. All right. So how am I going to achieve that? Very, very simple. Okay. Very, very simple. So I'll come I'll come to my data tab. All right. You see what if analysis, then you see go seek. So I click on go seek. So what do I want to do? I want to set cell. So which cell am I wanting to set to 600? I'll come here and click on my total volume cell. Then I go back into my Excel to a value of 600, which is what we want to do, 600, by changing what? The cell where you have R. All right, so I say Excel, use go seeking to set cell D16, which is this cell, to 600 by changing cell uh, B7 where we have R, and I just click OK. And automatically you can see in less than 2 seconds, Excel has calculated it for us at 5.728856. And there we have it as 600. So you can see this is more accurate than the trial and error method that we've done earlier on. So this is the goal seeking method, and I click OK, and there I have that. And when I did my trial and error, I had 5.551, but now I have a precise answer of 600 using my goal seeking, and that gave me 5.728856. So if you look at tax 3E, that is more tax for you from your manual. You have to use go seek to continue to get values, all right, as we have in tax 3E and tax 4. All right, so you are going to do that and populate that table that you have there, and that will be the end of goal seeking. Then we'll now look at the next topic, which is scenario manager. Okay, thank you for your time and have a nice time.